I have sanded this from, I did 60 grit, I did 80 grit, 120, 180. I've done one pass with 120, and in between every grit, you're gonna wanna blow this off with an air blower or something, get all the dust off of it. But I did up to 220. And after you do one of the 220s, take in and wet it. I know it sounds weird, but you're gonna wet it. You can either use a spray bottle, I'm just gonna use a rag. But you're gonna wanna wet this thing, and what that does is it'll raise all the little grains up in it, and after it dries, you can come back and sand all that off. That way it will, it'll be really smooth when you sand it again with the 220. Anything you put on it, finish of any sort, it's gonna make it rough, and you gotta sand it again and refinish it. So go ahead and do this first. I would recommend not using a red shop towel that I got at the, I don't know, AutoZone or something, because it's turned this whole thing red. So that's not a good, it's not a good thing to use. So use a spray bottle or a napkin. It'll all sand off, but so dumb. I don't know if you can see that, but it's red. I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna come back and hit it again. So I've wet it, I let it dry, and I sanded it again with 220. So it's really smooth now. All the red that came off from the rag onto this, did it all sand off? Nope. Am I gonna roll with it? Absolutely. I don't think it's gonna hurt it, but we'll see. That all sanded down, what we're gonna do, we're gonna pop all these off. And then you're going to take the bottom piece, and you're gonna sand the bottom, and you're gonna take the top piece, and you're gonna sand the top. Don't worry about the back. We're gonna paint it probably white. We'll paint it white, but we're gonna sand these down, and then put some stain on it. I went ahead and cleaned this with mineral spirits, so it'd get all the dust off, make sure it's really clean, because we're fixing to put some stain on it. But you got to go through and get all these biscuits out first. I've already taken some out. Just go through. We're not gonna just set the where the stars are going to be put on. Just set them to the side. We're not going to do anything with them right now. Make sure you keep all these in order so you don't have to go back and put it together like a puzzle later. I'm just gonna set these to the side. We don't need them yet. Then you're gonna take every other one. Hold on. Every other one. Starting with the top one, leave that one, take this one, leave the next one, take this one, leave that one, take this one. Because all these are going to be red, all these are going to be blue. We're going to do red first. So we're going to take all the blues and set them to the side. We try to fix that in editing. I said it was red and blue, but it's not, it's red and white. My mind ain't right. So we're gonna separate every other one. Every other one, these are gonna be red, starting with the top, and you'll end up at the bottom with red. And then every other one is gonna be white. So we're gonna take all the whites out, and we're gonna drop it and go ahead and bend it up, because why not? We're going to take all the ones that are going to be whites and we're going to set them to the side. So all these are going to be the red ones. And what I have, this is what I stain them with. I use antique white for the white stripes. I use barn red for the red stripes. And I'll use worn navy for the blue where the stars are going to go. And then the stars, I just paint the stars on white. But that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get this set up, and I'll show you a little bit of how I stain it. Make sure you wear some gloves because this stuff is messy. And I try to only get it on the tops and the sides. Try not to get any here. I don't know if it'll matter or whatever, but that's where all the glue's going, so we don't want to mess that up. I just dip it in. And wipe it on. Just that easy. Just that easy, people. And I absolutely hate anything to do with finish. I hate painting. I hate staining. But it's all part of the process. So it's got to be done. Like I say, try to keep it off of any of the glue parts. But on the very top one, you're going to stain this part, and you're going to stain the very top, and you'll also stain all the edges. But that's what the color is going to look like. Maybe a little bit lighter after I wipe it all off, because you got to wipe all the excess off. But I'm going to go ahead and do these and get back with y'all in a few. I got the red done, and after you finish your red, you're going to want to use mineral spirits. You're going to clean your table because you're going to get red on it. You don't want it to get on this white. Get yourself a new pair of gloves, get yourself some new rags. That way the red don't come off on the white. I ain't going to tell you how I know about that. Past experiences. But this is the white. You're going to do the same thing. Just going to wipe it on. Now the white ain't gonna pop like the red, but it'll look good. Just trust the process. It'll look good when it's done. You're going to see a lot of grain through this white after it's finished. So that's unless you can find a better white stain than what I've got, or if you paint it. If you paint it, of course, you won't see any. But I like the stain look, so that's how I do it. Probably a little more time consuming to do it this way. But you want it to look nice, so why not take the time to get it done the way you want it. Just do the tops, the edges. And you'll wipe it down. Get all the excess off of it. They do have a pre-stain that you can use. You can put the pre-stain on first, and it's supposed to hold the stain better than just straight applying the stain to it. But I ain't never used it. I don't know if you can see. Like I said, you probably can't see it. It'll show up though. You'll see. It'll work. So So here we're fixing to have our first bit of glue up. This is going to be the part where the stars go. We're going to go ahead and glue this up first and get it clamped in so it can dry, and then we're going to stain this part. I've got my red and white stripes over there already stained. They're drying. But what I'm going to use my table saw so I can use my fence to get this all lined up. But if you use your table saw and it's cast iron, make sure you put a piece of paper down, because this glue is water-based and it'll rust that. It'll rust your top. And put some tape right here in your clamps too, because it'll be an easy cleanup after you get done gluing it up from all the squeeze out. It's kind of messy, but don't forget you still have your biscuits in here too. So all you're going to do is now I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best to keep the glue about yay far down. I don't know how far yay is, but this is yay for me. Yay far down. That way we don't have a whole lot of squeeze out coming up. I don't care about the bottom. I can clean that off. It's going to be a lot harder to clean it off up top because it's already sanded smooth. We'll do the same thing with that, with the stripes. We're going to go ahead and throw you some glue on here. Yay far down. Get you some in the biscuit holes. I just use my finger. You can use whatever you want. I'm going to spread it all out. Biscuits back in there. Slide it on to the next piece. See that. Spread it out. If you have squeeze out on the sides, once you clamp it together, go ahead and clean that off too, because one of these sides is going to be glued to the stripes over there. So we're going to have to clean that out. I'll show you where I messed up on the stripes too. That's going to be fun. But you can't do a project without messing something up. So that one's done. Go ahead and squeeze you some glue in these biscuit holes right here that you just put on. Put these biscuits in. Put this piece on. And you just finish the rest of it, but I'm going to hurry up before this glue starts drying. So I've got, where is it at? Where is it at? There it is. I've got that glued up. That's where the stars are gonna be painted on. I'm gonna let that dry, then I'll stain it. I'll stain it blue. And then I'll glue that on last. But these are the parts that are stained. The part I screwed up on is you're supposed to stain all the edges of those. You're supposed to stain the edges of these. I'm stupid. I stain the edges of those too. You're not supposed to stain those because that's got to have glue on it. Will it hold? Yeah. This part right here, under here, is going to have glue, and glue is stronger than wood, so that's going to be plenty to hold it on if that don't hold. But I think it'll hold. I'm pretty sure it'll hold. It better hold. Anyway, so we're gonna do the same thing here. Had to put me a taller fence right here because these clamps are taller than the other ones, and it wouldn't reach my fence. So anyway, we're just gonna do the same thing that we did over there. None of these have biscuits in them yet. I'm just gonna put glue on them. I'm gonna put biscuits in them, and I'm gonna start sticking them together. And I'll let you know when I get that done. This is the blue. We're gonna stain the blue. I'll put an X on this side so I don't mess up again and stain it. But this is the part that's gonna be glued on to the big part. So we're gonna stain the very top. We're gonna stain this side, the left side, and we're gonna stain the top. Don't stain the bottom. We're gonna glue that to it also. Now this, if I remember right, this isn't very colorful either. You're gonna be able to see a lot through it. Just wipe it off. But even when you think you get all the glue off, this will show you that you don't get all the glue off. Y'all see this right here, where it didn't stay good or stain good? That's leftover glue. And I wiped and wiped and wiped on this thing too. So I'm gonna have to fix that. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Well, we're gonna take this blue piece. We're gonna throw some glue on this side. We're gonna throw some glue on this side. We're gonna stick it right here. We're gonna run us a clamp. Put your blocks up. We're gonna run us a clamp from here to the other side to push it that way. And you have to make sure that side's gonna be even. And then you're gonna take some clamps and you're gonna run it this way. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Remember, keep it down. So y'all can't see that. Keep it down about this far. Yay far. Remember to clean up all your squeeze out. If not, it's going to be hard to get that off. All right, let it dry. All right, we got this thing out of the clamps and it all held together, so that's good. Right now, this is what it should look like. What we're going to do first is we're going to flip it over and get all this glue off the back. Put your mat or a towel down or something to lay this thing on so you don't mess it up. And then we're just going to take a chisel and chisel all this dried up glue off. And then after we get all the glue off, we're going to take and we're going to sand this thing down. I was gonna paint it, but I changed my mind. We're just gonna smooth it out and let it be that. I'll show you what it looks like in a little bit. All right, we got all this glue, dried up glue taken off, and I'm gonna take it outside and we're gonna sand it with 120 grit sandpaper. We're gonna get all the lines off. We're gonna get all that paint off or stain and make it pretty. But I'm gonna do that outside, the wind's blowing crazy, so I'm not gonna video any of this, but I will show you what it looks like here in about 15 minutes. I got this sanded down with 120 grit, got all the lines off, got all the glue off. If you can see that. I mean, just some boards glued together, so it ain't gonna look like much. But the front is gonna look like this. And we're fixing to paint the stars on. So we print ours out on a Cricut, and however you want to put your stars on, that's up to you, but we do it with a Cricut. We're going to get this laid in here, and then we're going to hand paint these stars with white paint. So it's going to take a little while to get this on there, and I'll show you what it looks like after we get it all stuck on. We're painting the stars now. We use the Cricut. We cut out the stars. We messed up getting it on there, but that's okay because yours will look the same. It's gonna look horrible. Just take your time and get it on there better than we did. Anyway, we're hand painting them, and we'll be done painting that in about 3 hours because it takes forever. And I'll show you what it looks like in a little bit. It's messed up. So, being today's Saturday and I'm out of the weekend, I'm going to show you what happened, and then that'll be the end of this video, and I will finish it next week, hopefully, if I don't mess that one up too. But this is what happened. Let's see if you can see it. You can see a lot of it. It's all messed up. All these are just horrible paint. It's like it's just peeling off. I don't know. It's like it's plasti dip. If you know what plasti dip is, that's what it's acting like. But anyway, I'm gonna have to get all these off and print out some more and paint it with a different paint. So remember, if you like these kind of videos of me messing stuff up, like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it.